So hello everyone, today we are going to discuss the syllabus for NEET-UG 2026. So firstly we'll discuss the physics section. The first unit is units and measurement. As you know, the important topics of this chapters are significant figures, SI units, errors in measurements, dimensions of the physical quantities and its applications. The second unit is kinematics. It includes both motion in a straight line and motion in a plane. The important topics of this chapter are relative velocity, projectile motion, and uniform circular motion. The next unit is laws of motion. The whole chapter is important, as you know, the all the three laws of Newton, that is Newton's first law, Newton's second law of motion, and Newton's third law. All these are important topics of this chapter. Also the uniform circular motion dynamics, centripetal force and its applications. The unit 4 is work, energy and power. This is also a very important chapter. The work done by a constant force and a variable force, kinetic and potential energy and work energy theorem. This theorem is very important from exam point of view and the power. The next unit is rotational motion. It includes center of mass and the rotational part is also very important. The next unit is gravitation. Here the Kepler's laws of planetary motion are important. Gravitational potential energy and gravitational potential are the important topics. Also escape velocity is very important topic from the exam point of view. The next unit is mechanical properties of solids and liquids. Here in the solids part we can see the stress strain relationship, Hooke's law, Young's modulus. These are the important topics. Also the Pascal's law and its applications is important. From the liquids point of view, the Stokes law, terminal velocity, Bernoulli's principle and its applications is the most important topic of this chapter. Also the surface tension and surface energy part is important. The next is obviously the specific heat capacity, calorimetry, latent heat, heat transfer. The three methods of heat transfer are also important. The next unit is thermodynamics. It includes a zeroth law of thermodynamics, the first law of thermodynamics, the second law of thermodynamics. All these are the important topics. The next unit is kinetic theory of gases. Unit 10 is oscillations and waves. It includes both SHM. SHM is important, its equation, phase, all these are the important topics. You can see the kinetic and potential energies, simple pendulum, its derivation of expression for its time period. And in the wave motion also, the longitudinal and transverse waves, speed of traveling wave, displacement relation for a progressive wave. The beats is also important. Standing waves in strings and organ pipes is the most important part of this chapter. Then we come to the chapter, the class 12th part. The first unit is electrostatics. It includes both the chapters electric charges and fields and the electrostatic potential and capacitance. This whole unit is very important. Almost 6 to 7 questions are asked every year from this unit. The next unit is current electricity. It is also very important chapter. All the topics of this chapter are very important from the exam point of view. The next is magnetic effects of current and magnetism. The important topics of this chapter are Biot-Savart's law, the Ampere's circuital law, force on a current carrying conductor in an uniform magnetic field, torque experienced by a current loop in a uniform magnetic field, moving coil galvanometer, sensitivity and conversion to ammeter and voltmeter. The next unit is electromagnetic induction and alternating currents. It includes Faraday's law, induced EMF and current, Lenz's law is very important. Eddy currents, self and mutual inductance. The alternating current chapters include peak and RMS value of alternating current, voltage, reactance and impedance. LCR series circuit is important. Resonance. So all in all, this whole chapter is very important. The next is EM waves, electromagnetic waves. The important topics of this chapter are displacement current and the electromagnetic spectrum, that includes radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible, UV, X-rays and gamma rays. The next most important unit is optics. It includes both the ray optics and the wave optics. This chapter is very important. The next unit is dual nature of matter and radiation. There are some, this is a very small chapter, so not much topics are asked from this chapter. The important topic is photoelectric effect and the photoelectric equation given by the Einstein, particle nature of light, and de Broglie wave equation also. The next unit is atoms and nuclei. It includes alpha particle scattering experiment, Rutherford's model, Bohr's model, energy levels, hydrogen spectrum. All these are the important topics. And the mass energy relation from the nuclei chapter is important. Mass defects, sometimes questions are asked from this topic also. Binding energy per nucleon and its variation with mass number, nuclear fission and fusion. The next chapter is semiconductors. The important topics of the chapter are IV characteristics in forward and reverse bias, diode as a rectifier, IV characteristics of LED, photodiode, solar cell, Zener diode. So these are very important topics of this chapter, and Zener diode as a voltage regulator. Also, the important topic of this chapter is logic gates. Logic gates is asked very frequently and it's very easy topic. So it's very scoring chapter, the semiconductors. The experimental skills. Let's discuss what are the experimental skills required. The first is vernier calipers, as we can study it in units and measurements, so not much. The second is screw gauge. It's also studied along with units and measurements. The next is simple pendulum, the dissipation of energy by plotting a graph between the square of amplitude and time. The next is meter scale, Young's modulus of elasticity, surface tension, coefficient of viscosity, the speed of sound in air at room temperature, specific heat capacity, resistivity of the material of a given wire using meter bridge, resistance of given wire using Ohm's law. So these are topics which we can study along with the chapters, so there is no need to study it otherwise. The focal length of convex mirror, concave mirror, convex lens using the parallax method, the plot of the angle of deviation versus angle of incidence for a triangular prism, refractive index of glass slab using a traveling microscope, the characteristic curves of PN junction diode in forward and reverse bias, Zener diode, finding reverse breakdown voltage, LED resistor. All these are the topics which we can study along with the main chapters. So this is the physics section done. Let's move on to the chemistry section. So the chemistry part, first of all we'll discuss the physical chemistry. The chapter that includes is some basic concepts of chemistry, the atomic structure, the chemical bonding and molecular structure. This is very important chapter from the basics point of view. Okay. The next is thermodynamics, the first law and the second law of thermodynamics. There are many numericals which are asked from this chapter. The next is solutions, equilibrium. Equilibrium includes both the chemical and ionic equilibrium. The ionic equilibrium part is very important from this chapter. The redox reactions and electrochemistry. Both the chapters are very important. They are sometimes asked in a combination. The next is chemical kinetics. So this is all about the physical chemistry part. The next, inorganic chemistry. So in inorganic chemistry, many chapters are not there. Some of the chapters are asked. The first is a periodic table. The second is p block elements. In p block elements, we can see only group 13 to group 18 elements. The general electronic configuration is asked, and general trends in physical and chemical properties of elements across the periods and down the groups. So not much of the characteristics we have to learn about this chapter. The next is D and F blocks. Obviously, the electronic configuration is very important, as well as the oxidation states. The important from this chapter is lanthanoid contraction. So make sure you prepare the topic well. The next is coordination compounds. The obviously we can see the nomenclature is important from this chapter. Also the CFT, crystal field theory, isomerization, all these topics are very important from this chapter. So the next section is organic chemistry. Organic chemistry includes first chapter is purification characteristics of organic compounds. So this is a very easy topic. Once you go through this, you can easily remember, and the questions are also repeated every year almost. The next is some basic principles of organic chemistry. It includes nomenclature and the common types of organic reactions, that is substitution, addition, elimination, rearrangement. So this is very easy chapter. The next is hydrocarbons. It includes alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, and aromatic hydrocompounds. The next is organic compounds containing halogens, that is haloalkanes and haloarenes. This is also very important chapter. The next is organic compounds containing oxygen. The chapters that are included in this unit are alcohols, phenols, and ethers. You need to know the preparation, methods of preparation, the mechanism of reactions, certain important reactions you need to know the mechanism, and the chemical test to distinguish between the aldehydes and ketones of this chapter. Aldehyde ketones are also included in this chapter. Carboxylic acids are also there. Next unit is organic compounds containing nitrogen. So this includes amines and diazonium salts. Its reactions are important. The next unit is biomolecules. It includes carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, nucleic acids, and hormones. The general introduction part is also added this time in the NEET-UG syllabus. And the last unit of this is principles related to practical chemistry. So not much is asked from this unit till now, but you can go through the topics such as Mohr salt and potash alum, the inorganic compounds, and the chemical principles involved in the qualitative salt analysis, that is the cations and the anions you need to know. So these are the some important topics which you need to know for the chemistry part. So let's move on to the biology section. So the first unit, that is diversity in the living world. So this is a very important unit. So first chapter of the 11th NCERT book is living world. It's important. The second is five kingdom classification. It is also important. Okay. The plant kingdom chapter is also important. Salient features and classification of plants into major groups. The animal kingdom, the fourth chapter, is very important. So you need to know everything from this unit. The second unit is structural organization in animals and plants. The first chapter is morphology of flowering plants. You need to know the different parts of the flowering plants, that is root, stem, leaf, inflorescence, the types of inflorescences, the flower, fruit, and seed. And the families you need to deal with are Malvaceae, Cruciferae, Leguminosae, Compositae, and Gramineae. Okay. The second chapter of this unit is animal tissues, the morphology, anatomy, and functions of the different systems of an insect. Here there is an anomaly again. The insect here is referred to as cockroach. So you need to do cockroach also, and the frog also. You need to do both the topics from this unit. Any topic can be asked in the exam. The next is cell structure and function. The cell structure and function, the first chapter is cell theory and the cell as the basic unit of life. So this whole chapter is very important from the basics point of view. The second chapter includes biomolecules. The third is cell division. You need to know the cell cycle, mitosis, meiosis, and their significance. The next unit is plant physiology. It includes 3 chapters, that is photosynthesis, respiration, and the plant growth and development. So you need to know the plant physiology as well. It is included in the NEET-UG. Many questions are asked from this chapter every year. And the most important part is human physiology. The chapters are breathing and respiration, body fluids and circulation, excretory products and their elimination, locomotion and movement, neural control and coordination, chemical coordination and regulation. These are the important, all the chapters are very important from this human physiology. So let's come to the 12th part, the class 12th part. The first unit is reproduction. The sexual reproduction in flowering plants is very important. Human reproduction is important, and the reproductive health is also a part of this unit. You need to know all these. The next unit is genetics and evolution. The heredity and variation, molecular basis of inheritance, and the evolution part. All these are very important. Next unit is biology and human welfare. The first is human health and disease. Many questions are asked from this chapter. It includes various the pathogens, parasites causing human diseases, malaria, filariasis, ascariasis, typhoid, pneumonia, common cold, amoebiasis, ringworm, dengue, chikungunya. These 2 topics, dengue and chikungunya, are recently added. The basic concepts of immunology, vaccines, cancer, HIV/AIDS. These are some of the important topics. The next chapter is microbes in human welfare. Next unit is biotechnology and its applications. So both of these chapters, that is principles of biotechnology and applications, both are important. The important topics are gene therapy, the genetically modified crops, transgenic animals, biosafety issues, biopiracy and patents. All these topics are important. Human insulin and vaccine production is also important. So this chapter is very important. The next and the last unit is ecology and environment. It includes 3 chapters, that is organisms and environment. The population part is remaining only in this chapter, that is population interactions. So this is easy. Next is ecosystem, and the third chapter that is included in ecology is biodiversity and its conservation. So all these topics are important from the exam point of view. Biology is almost you need to know the completely topics of this unit. So this is overall syllabus of the NEET-UG 2026. So prepare well, and that's all for this video. In the next video, we'll discuss the weightage of different chapters for the NEET exam. Thank you.